My husband, 34, and I, 32 female, have been married for 6 years. 2 months ago, I stopped him from going on a bachelor's trip with his long-term school friends. I was okay with this and was kind of looking forward to him having fun until I learned he hid the fact that they would be doing a lot of adult-themed activities. Think happy end massages as part of their itinerary. It caused a huge fight, as we've always maintained that this is a deal breaker for me, and the fact that he hid it from me made it worse. He argued that he only did it because of my tendency to overreact. Of course, he wouldn't engage in those activities, but that didn't mean he couldn't go. I would have been fine with him going if he told me about their itinerary and trusted that he would keep away. What he did broke my trust, and the only way I could see him earning it back is if he voluntarily told his friends that he couldn't come, which he did. At the time, he looked really apologetic and we made up. He took me shopping and all was good. I bought some fashionable outfits and wanted to wear them in summer. Where we live, it was still a little cold and I didn't get to immediately dress up in the clothes I just bought. Also, most of my summer clothes had shrunk in the washer, so I practically only had my oversized casuals and the clothes I just bought. A few weeks later, it starts to get warmer, and as I slip into my new dress, it feels tight. I'm confused. I just tried them on in the store and I'm a size 14, as the label on the dress said. So no, I didn't get the wrong size from the store. Then another dress was tight, same with pants and other tops. I start feeling absolutely crazy. Had I put on so much weight in a few weeks that my new dresses didn't even fit? I've always been a bit sensitive about how my body looks, and I remember telling my husband how excited I was about these new clothes, which looked so flattering on me. I felt so good in all of them, and now they looked so hideous on me. I started crying on the floor. I was too embarrassed to tell my husband this. I thought he must have noticed if I'd put on weight. I was a wreck. I was feeling crazy for a few weeks now. Even the clothes that I had before felt tighter. I don't know if it was a placebo or really, but it didn't help. A few days ago during dinner, my husband said he wanted to confess something. He was snickering while saying this, and what he said absolutely crushed me. He said that while I was gone to see my sister, who had just had a baby for a week, he had secretly taken all my outfits that he knew I routinely wore and given them to the local tailor to make them a size or two smaller. He said he paid him generously to stitch things faster. He said sorry, but it felt like a funny payback for what I'd done, which stopped him from going on a trip. I said that wasn't funny and he made me feel crazy. I was crying and screaming at this point. He severed my sense of self and made me feel ugly. Eventually I tried to be okay, but I was not. I'm still reeling from what he did as petty revenge. It's been some time since he confessed. I'm struggling with what he did. I want to forgive him. I never knew how resentful he was of me about that trip. Maybe it's my fault. I should have been more trusting. I knew he would never cheat. In my heart, I knew he would keep away. And from his point of view, his petty revenge on me probably feels deserved. I'd be mad too if he stopped me from doing something I was looking forward to doing. Am I the idiot for struggling to forgive my husband for his petty revenge on me? Not the idiot, so let me clarify. Your husband lies and enjoys watching you suffer. That's neither loving nor funny. You deserve better. That was a calculated, time-consuming, and expensive act meant to hurt you where he knew you were the most vulnerable and would hurt you the most. No excuse for that kind of cruelty, regardless of the reason. For real, he spent time and lots of money pulling this prank, all because you didn't want him going on a bachelor's trip that involved strip clubs and happy massages? What the heck? This guy and his friends are really disgusting and I'd be rethinking this whole marriage. Also, when he took her shopping, her statement at the time he looked really apologetic and we made up, he took me shopping, when in reality he was setting her up. He's not acting apologetic, he was sniggering. OP, I know husbands can be really convincing, but he was absolutely going to cheat on you, and if he was planning a trip like that, chances are he's already done plenty of stuff like that in the past. Nobody plans to go on a trip with a bunch of guys that's full of strippers and a happy ending, but they're just going to sit it out, like a good little boy in the corner, while all their friends indulge. No way! Any man who loved his wife would not be going on a trip like this. I, a 30-year-old female, am currently staying with my sister, 32, her husband, 35, and their 2 daughters, Amber, tween, and Rosie, pre-tween, as my company put me on a temporary secondment near where they live. I consider myself a feminine woman. I love dresses, makeup, high heels, etc. However, I do not shave my legs, not for any particular reason. I don't do it to make a statement or to fight the patriarchy or anything like that. My sister and I have thick, dark leg hair. Dad's side of the family is Arabic. So our mother, who's white English, insisted we start shaving as soon as the hair started growing. But it always felt like something I had to do rather than wanted to do. So I stopped when I was about 16 or 17. Amber and I have bonded over fashion. She loves my dresses and tries on my heels, and I'm teaching her my more creative makeup styles. I was seeing someone and went for dinner with him last night. It's warm here, so I wore a dress with my legs bare. Amber always comes to look at my outfits before I go out. She knows I don't shave but has never brought it up before. However, she's recently started shaving herself. When she came, she asked me why I did my hair and makeup and dressed up but didn't shave. She said she thought shaving was part of the whole dress up, get ready routine for girls. I just shrugged and said there's more than one way to be a girly girl. My date went well, but my sister was waiting for me when I got home. She said I've been putting ideas in her daughter's head and that now Amber is asking if it's okay if she stops shaving. She warned me that if I try to influence her daughter, I would be kicked out. I don't think I did anything wrong. I didn't even say that Amber shouldn't shave. All I said was that it's personal individual choice whether they do or not, and that it wouldn't make her any more or less feminine. Am I the idiot for influencing my niece into bad habits? Not the idiot. I can't get past the idea anyone thinks a tween child needs to shave her legs. Your sister needs to chill a bit. Her daughter is growing up and finding herself. Your niece asked a question and you answered honestly. Encourage them to talk. She's starting puberty and she'll be going through other changes soon enough. She should feel comfortable talking to mum about things without judgment. She's a tween and her mother is making her shave her legs. Oh my god, I didn't even notice the niece's age. I feel like your sister's attitude is a bit neurotic. Is shaving legs really that significant? If she made that statement and stormed off dramatically, might be worth sitting down and talking it through to see what the issue is. Sounds like the issue was mom because she said they were forced to shave as kids. Sis just continued the process with her kids. It's a cycle of imposing archaic Western beauty standards. Body hair is such a natural thing. We, as a culture, have a weird obsession with it being undesirable for women only. I've been dating Mark for 2 years now and he moved in with me 4 months ago with his 19-year-old daughter, Lindy. Mark and I split the bills down the middle. Lindy doesn't contribute, though she has a full-time job making $16 an hour. I never had any intentions of making her pay anything, but her eating habits are driving me up the wall. She has a food routine for breakfast, lunch and snacks. I'm told she has OCD and it's an OCD thing. She has 6 pieces of toast every morning between 6 and 8 a.m, 2 with peanut butter, 2 with butter and 2 with jelly. By 10 a.m, she makes herself 2 hard-boiled eggs because she's starving. She eats 2 grilled cheeses for lunch around 12 and 12:30. She eats again at 2 before leaving for work, where she has 2 packages of ramen noodles. Her snack? She takes spoonfuls of peanut butter straight from the jar several times a day. She usually eats dinner at work, but she eats more than Mark and I combined when she's home. When she gets home, she has no less than 2 bowls of cereal, where she fills the milk to the top and then just pours it down the drain after, as in drinks none of the milk and just wastes it. And no, she's not overweight. She's a healthy weight, maybe 130 pounds, and she's 5 foot 9 inches tall. Now, I'm going through an entire loaf of bread a day. A big jar of peanut butter doesn't last more than 3 days. I'm buying a carton of eggs every 2 days. I'm lucky to make a gallon of milk last a day. Mark and I hardly ever eat bread, peanut butter or eggs. Maybe once a week at most for sandwiches and eggs is maybe once a month. Despite Mark and me contributing to food, I'm spending nearly $400 extra a month due to her intake of the items listed above. I told Mark I would no longer be buying these items, and either he or his daughter could. He argued that everything is supposed to be 50-50, what we agreed on. So I told him that his daughter would be buying it herself then because I'm not buying this stuff anymore, and if it continues to be a problem, she needs to find somewhere else to live. She throws fits if this food isn't stocked in the house. He was angry. He doesn't think his daughter should have to pay for anything, so she has money saved to move out. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He moved in with his adult daughter, 50-50 or 1/3, because she's an extra adult, she is working. If her father wants her to save, he should be footing her bills. They are not your responsibility. Also, I'm not an expert, but her routine seems highly unhealthy. Wasting food is also a big no for me. If it was only the amount or what she eats, it would be one thing, but wasting food makes it a lot worse. Last but not least, if you live with other people, you should know that eating directly from the jar, double dip or drink from the bottle is gross. Yeah, this sounds like an entire eating disorder. 5 foot 9 inches at 130 is about model weight. Eating that much doesn't add up. There's something wacky going on, or she has the metabolism of a racehorse. It is adorable that he thinks she will move out. Why on earth would she when she has him waiting on her hand and foot? Right? OP is buying all her food, Dad is filling her gas tank, and she doesn't pay rent. Do you think she's going to move out? LMAO. OP, this situation will not get any better. Perhaps it's time to kick them both out and move on. Evict them, now. There's a reason he moved in. He wants to mooch off of you. I, a teen female, have been getting really into cooking lately, and I decided that I wanted to cook a nice meal for my family as a treat. I bought all the ingredients with my own money and started on the dinner. It came out amazing. Braised pork, lime tacos, homemade salsa, and a cool strawberry fresca drink. My stepsister, pre-tween, didn't even try my food before she decided it was gross. She told me the food looked terrible and that she wanted something else. I was hurt because I'd worked hard on the meal and was proud of it. I asked her to try a bite, but my stepdad intervened and said she didn't have to if she didn't want to. She again demanded that I make her something else, and my stepdad asked me to go make her a meal. I was going to refuse, but I decided not to stir the pot, so I got up and made her grilled cheese. When I put the plate down, my stepsister looked happy. Still, my stepdad complained that the meal was unhealthy and that I needed to make her something more nutritious. This upset me because I was not the family's chef, especially not for his picky daughter. Her nutrition was not my responsibility, and I had no obligation to make her anything in the first place. I told him all this, and my stepdad chastised me for arguing at the table. He sighed dramatically and got up to make his daughter something else, making himself look like the victim. I'm upset because now everyone thinks I'm in the wrong for refusing to do it, even though cooking anyone's dinner wasn't my responsibility, especially not cooking my picky stepsister a third meal. So, not the idiot. Your stepdad sounds like a real piece of work. He's definitely the idiot of this story. God forbid he enjoys a free meal prepared for him. That sounds pretty great. And then being indignant when you scoff at having to make another meal, and then just being an idiot not healthy enough. He should pick up a pan himself. What a ridiculous jerk. The fault of this evening going to crap lays entirely with him. As far as your stepsister goes, well, I don't know what her normal behaviour is like. She doesn't sound that dissimilar to any other pre-tween. Who isn't picky at her age? I would have asked for a PBJ when I was her age. Stepdad's probably at least part of why stepsister is like this. Kids should be encouraged to try new foods even if it doesn't look appetizing to them at first. The fact that OP was being a better role model than this child's own father is concerning. Where's your mom in this? She needs to have your back and tell your stepdad this isn't a restaurant. His daughter eats what she's served, or he can make her something. He's also enabling her bad behavior by saying she doesn't even have to try it. My mom always made me take at least a bite of something as a kid. I didn't have to like it, but I had to try it. It's very sweet of you to make your family a nice dinner. However, if they're not appreciative, don't do it again. Your stepsister sounds like a brat. My sister, 30s, is a social worker. My husband and I, 30s, are foster parents. We're currently long-term foster parents and possibly foster to adopt for biological siblings. The siblings lost their sole parent a couple of years ago. They have half-siblings from said parent who are much older, now adults. Our foster kids miss their half-siblings and have craved a relationship with them, but the half-siblings have chosen not to have contact. From the limited info we know about our foster kids' lives before they came to live with us, any visits that they had while the half-siblings were minors had to be forced on the older kids who did not wish to keep contact. This has been extremely difficult for our foster children. We've advocated for them to be in therapy, which luckily was approved, and they go once a week, but they often ask about and bring up their half-siblings and beg us to set up a time for them to see them. My sister is aware of this and has spoken to my husband and me 3 different times about how we need to do more to ensure this relationship between siblings. We've told her that's not possible. She told us we're failing our foster kids. She said we needed to find out the information of these half-siblings and fight for contact. She told us we could bring it to court if we needed to. I reminded her that's not something we can do. She told me the kids would never see us as parents or want to be in our family if we kept them from their siblings. And then she went on and about how important sibling relationships are and brought up the fact she's a social worker and she knows how these things work better than anyone in the family. I told her that just because she's a social worker, it doesn't mean she always knows what's best for foster kids. I also told her she has no control over adult decisions, which is something she should know as a social worker. She told me I should take her professional advice and stop invalidating her profession and experience like I did there. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You and your husband probably know the situation most intimately of everyone presently involved, and you still come to the conclusion trying to force a relationship with the half-siblings is going to end badly. As a social worker, your sister should know it's not one size fits all with broken families, and individual cases have individual nuances that need to be handled on a case-by-case basis. She's got a romanticized view of families sticking together. Whether or not she's aware of the particulars of this case, she needs to trust your judgment. How could OP possibly force a relationship? Police arrest the other siblings, handcuff them, and force them to sit in a room where they must interact with a kid? Or are you implying that OP can legally use blackmail or bribes to force others to interact with a kid against their will? How would OP be able to force a relationship with the adult half-siblings? Please ask the sister to explain this in detail. That's probably already been handled. The adult siblings would have received info, calls, and info on court dates to gauge their legal interest as next of kin. Not interested? Nothing else they can do. When the kids turn 18, they can pursue the sibs all they want. Hang in there, Mama Bear. You understand the situation better than your sister because you're actually in it.